Welcome to Audio Able, an extension of our blog at Able United. We know there are a lot of resources available, and navigating them can be overwhelming. So we created this series to help you. We'll take a deeper dive into the important issues and topics affecting the disability community. We'll also get to hear from guest speakers who serve or represent individuals with varying disabilities and experts on available resources. We hope you'll spend some time with us to listen in. Now, let's get right to it.
Welcome back for another episode of Audio Able. We are highlighting one of our account holders today through our Faces of Able campaign. For those watching this episode on our YouTube page, my name is Steph Conti. I'm a Hispanic female and I have a white blouse on with black headphones. We're joined by one of our newest Able United ambassadors, Jacques St. Jacques. She is an instructor at Touching Miami with Love and mother to her 18-year-old son, Umar, with autism spectrum disorder. Jackie, thank you for taking the time to share your story today.
Hi, Steph, and thank you for having me on your show.
Wonderful. So to get us started, can you please share with us the story of Umar's journey with autism and how it has shaped your family's experience?
Yes, so my son Umar, he is 18 years old, and our journey with autism began really early. I would say around the age of 2, I noticed that Umar developmentally was a lot slower than a typical child. He he is my second child, and so therefore I noticed right away the difference between how he was developing versus my older child. And so I took him to the doctor and they started doing some diagnostic testing, and he was immediately labeled as developmentally delayed. However, I felt that wasn't enough to just label him developmentally delayed, but the journey took several years. By the time he was 10 years old, I did connect with a pediatrician that referred us to a neurologist. And when we were referred, they did testing for him for autism, and they did confirm that Umar had autism. I felt that that was the beginning of us on this journey of life with autism. Things started to make sense as far as his behavior, how he interacts with family and his peers. And for me, it was a very good thing because our family had been very frustrated with not knowing what exactly was going on with Umar. So we accepted the diagnosis very positively because it started to make everything else in our lives make sense when it comes to who Umar is as a person.
Right. That's beautiful. So you've been advocating for him, since day one. What are some of the activities and hobbies that he enjoys doing?
Umar is a very adventurous person. Ever since he was little, he just gravitated to music. So Umar would sing, he would dance, and he's a great dancer, by the way. And so he's just a very outgoing person. As he got older, I would say around the age of 12, he picked up basketball. He was actually in physical therapy with a coach. And so he was teaching Umar basketball skills. And from there, Umar just gravitated to basketball. And he eventually joined Special Olympics through his high school. And he's been competing in basketball.
Wow.
He also enjoys the outdoors. Umar goes camping. He went to the Everglades National Park a couple of months ago, and he went camping with a group of his peers. And he loves water. Ever since he was maybe 3, 4 years old, you will always find Umar finding his way to water. So he likes to swim, and he likes going to the beach and going to the pool.
That's awesome. It's, perfect Florida activities. So, looking towards the future, what are your hopes and aspirations for Umar?
My hopes and aspiration for Umar is that he just thrive as the person he is meant to be. When I look at Umar, I don't see limitations. I see opportunities for him to grow. Um, through this journey, I realized that there are so many resources out there for him. And I try to plug him in to every resource available so that way he can develop the skills he needs to be a thriving adult.
Right.
Umar um, is very dedicated to his goals. He is actually planning to attend college when he graduates from high school. So he will be entering his 12th grade year in the fall. And so he's excited about being a senior. He wants to actually live on a college campus. He wants to work. He's already planning to live on his own. And
Nice.
I don't limit that. I don't tell him, no, Umar, you can't do this, you can't do that. I the way I think is, how can I help him make this happen? And so his goal is just to be able to take care of himself. He actually wants to have a family one day. I support him in everything he wants to achieve in his life. So the goals that I have is to be able to assist him in reaching his goals of independence.
That's beautiful. And yeah, it sounds like you've already, started to plan out for all the different stages in life. And like you said, you just want to support him. So that's beautiful. So, in your experience, what have been some of the significant challenges you and Umar have faced together?
Some of the challenges we have faced is definitely barriers that others try to place on Umar. Um, For instance, we were invited to attend a camp through our place of worship. And the camp, it's for, I guess you would say, typical kids. I don't like to really use those terms, but you know, that is usually what we would refer to people who may not have different abilities from someone like Umar. And they were very hesitant about Umar participating in the camp. So I had to advocate for him. And I feel that that's something that I'm always doing. I advocate for him when it comes to being a part of things and being included. There are like situations where maybe someone like Umar would not be a part of activity or social group, but we make strides and a lot of doors has opened up because I advocate for him. So I definitely um just seeing that the challenge is always being ready to advocate for him. Sometimes it could be draining of my energy, his
Yes.
energy. I want Umar to always maintain a positive attitude. And for the most part, he does. I think for me, I may get down or have a negative attitude when if we don't have something go our way. So it didn't work out for the camp. And that was because I said I want to pick and choose my battles. And I know if I would have tried hard enough, they would have had no choice but to accept Umar. And so I want to like fight for those things that are worth it. I knew that we have a jam-packed summer ahead of us
Right.
and that Umar participated in a lot of things. And I'm like, do I really want to put my energy into this or focus on what Umar needs? And right now, Umar is transitioning and getting ready for a life in college. So
Yeah.
I'm using this time to um, put things in place for him so that way he can have the resources he need.
Yeah.
And so the challenge I would say would be, you know, picking and choosing the battles to fight,
Yeah.
not to take everything personal, but knowing that because we don't we don't automatically say no to ourselves, that we are setting an example for other families who are facing the same things. That I've actually, been able to uh, be be in a relationship with families like because of you, Jackie, that we're doing this with our family, that they're not limiting themselves because they see there's someone else that went ahead of them and actually took on that challenge. So that's how we've been able to overcome our challenges, because we know that we may be the ones to go through it first, but we're paving the way for others to maybe
Yeah.
have a smoother process in overcoming those challenges.
That's great. And I love what you said, about trying to stay positive and, like you just said, picking your battles. So what other, advice would you give to families that are going through a similar situation?
Really assess the situation, because um, in that situation when I was talking about the camp, I had to really do like a self-evaluation. Would that scenario been the best case for Umar? And I had to accept that sometimes there are limitations to environments. I have to take Umar into consideration, because sometimes we can forget that it's not about you or about, but it's about the person that's involved. And it could easily have been where I fought really hard for Umar to be a part of this camp. He goes and he has a horrible experience because I was just so adamant about him being there and about him being included. But we've never been there before. This camp was out of the state. It was going to be for 10 days. Very fast pace. There may not be staff that would be able to really break things down on Umar's level so that he can be able to participate. So, and having him in this very awkward situation, if I'm not there to be able to come alongside him and help him through it, is that fair to Umar? No, it's not fair to Umar. So sometimes you really do have to step back, really assess the situation before you decide to. It is very necessary that I try to have my child be a part of this or a part of that. And I will say for families to connect with other families that have gone through similar situations, be a part of parenting groups, connect with the resources in your community if possible, so that way they can connect you with other families, because when you don't feel isolated and alone, you can be empowered to actually get through these challenges that you are facing. It's Time is going by really fast, I would say. And the fact that Umar is 18 years old, I keep bringing it up because it's like 18 years since I've held Umar in my arms, and can reflect on days when I'm like, I don't know what the future is going to bring. I don't know what's going to happen next. What is going on with my child? I can see there's challenges with him, and how can I best take care of him? And knowing that there is a light at the end of the tunnel, or a rainbow at the end, because right now this is like the happiest time in my life with Umar, because we have so much more to look forward to. This is still like the beginning.
Yeah.
And those early stages do pass, they do go on, but there's so much wealth in that, those experiences. And I feel that it was meant for our family to experience the things that we experienced, so that we can, help other families along the journey.
That's beautiful. Thank you for sharing that. That touched my heart. So, as I shared, you're an Able United brand ambassador, and I'm sure your journey with Umar has influenced your passion for advocating and raising awareness about the importance of financial independence and security for individuals with disabilities. So, how do you hope to inspire other families in similar circumstances through your work?
Well, I've already begun um, that that work as far as helping other families. So I am an instructor at Touching Miami with Love. I've been with the organization for 6.5 years. And at some point in this journey with the organization, I served as program coordinator and site coordinator. And I was very privileged in that role to be able to serve the families that come to TML. Some of them expressing their concerns about their child academic progress and social progress and needing resources to provide for their kids. And so um, I always let them know I'm a parent first and that I actually have two children with different abilities, Umar being my older child with autism and an intellectual disability. And when they see Umar, they're like, wow, your son is so smart. He is so kind. Right before this interview, I was speaking to him about it, and he says, I said, what do you like to do, Umar? And he says, I love opening doors for people. I love saying hello, how are you doing? You look nice today. I say, so you love giving compliments and you love catering to people. And he said,
Yeah.
yes. And this is what he does when he's around other people. And this was really, I want to say, this transition with him happened in the last 2 years where Umar is speaking more. And I really feel it had a lot to do with the resources I put in place for him, like ABA therapy,
Mhm.
being a part of different social groups and clubs.
Yeah.
Um, and so when families see how I interact with my son and how my son interact with other people, it gives them inspiration to say, hey, I would love to see my child function at this level or as close to as possible. And how do you do it? So they always ask me, um, what do you know? Who do you know? How can I get this for my child? And I said, well, you can connect with Parent to Parent in Miami or you're the Advocacy Network of Disabilities and or University of Miami Card Center. And they were like, well, how do I contact this organization? Well, how do I get my child signed up? Special Olympics? Wow, I would
Yeah.
love to do this. And so the bright idea was that we offer a disabilities resource fair at our center. And since October is Disabilities Awareness and Disabilities Employment Month,
Yeah.
we decided to host a fall festival and to bring all of these community resources to our Homestead location. And the parents and the families can actually connect with them in person, get the information they need to follow up and get the services for their children, and but also in a fun environment. They're having fun, and they're having food, they're playing games, you know, dancing, just a blast. And we had, I want to say, over 350 people turn out our first year. I think we had close to 500 last year. And it's become a tradition with our organization so that we'll be hosting it again in October. And we hope to continue that every year. So that was something that I wanted to see happen and on a larger scale. Like I could talk to these families individually, but this was open to the community. So this was a way for me to help other families gain the resources that they need for their loved one.
That's excellent. I know that Able United has participated in the event in the past, and it's, like you said, amazing, so well attended. It's a great community event. So our last question, if someone were to ask you what the number one benefit of an Able United account is, what would you say?
it's a plan. And it's a plan for my child's life. There's a saying, if you don't have a plan, you plan to fail. And so when I think about the Able United account, it's a plan that I'm putting into place for my son's financial future. Of course, we know that one day I will no longer be here to provide for him. And in the event when that happens, I want to know at least that he's being taken care of financially. So we did start it a little late. So we've been with Able United as an account with them a little over a year, maybe a year and a half now. And but it's never too late. I will when I'm as an ambassador, when I uh, speak with families at events, I tell them, even if it's $5, $10, just start now, because you're gonna be so glad you did it. You don't look at how much time may have passed that you could have saved. You can have family members contribute to this account, and I guess you can say, catch up. And that way, it's a form of security. I want to say a financial security for Umar, so that he can do the things that he want to do. He's gonna be a college student very soon.
Yeah.
He's gonna want to go out and hang out with friends. He wants to work. He can work, but he can also have money to help pay for bills when he is living on his own. So this is the plan to help Umar reach his goals in life.
That's beautiful. Well, Jackie, thank you so much. We love sharing these stories with our community. Our Faces of Able are our biggest advocates, our success stories, and the reason this program exists. If you are an Able United account holder and are ready and willing to share your story, we want to hear from you. All you have to do is email us at info@ableunited.com. For more Faces of Able's stories, including our friends Cameron, Samantha, and Elliot, and dozens more, visit the Faces of Able section in our blog.
Well, that's it for now. Have topics you'd like us to address? Interested in sharing a resource? Drop us a line at info@ableunited.com. Thanks for listening in, and we'll catch you next time on Audio Able.